Continuation of your test.
Welcome back. Can we proceed, please?
My colleague is going to go through some files with the witnesses.
They have.
Okay. Mr. Zanyan, was it you? I believe the chair had asked.
Thank you. There are a series of issues that KMC, they indicated that they experienced some. Sorry, carry on.
Yes.
So reports are with the commission here.
Yes. Okay.
So maybe we can arrange to make those clarifications.
You were going to check as well the other, I believe the Ministry of Fisheries, etc., their costs for boreholes.
No, the cost of is last year, because this year they are trying to justify how reasonable the $30 is per seedling is.
You for the Ministry of Fisheries, boreholes that they had
making the checks.
Okay.
And there is another one, whether the tree planting for this one, exactly, yes.
The one that they said was urgent?
The file that we were last year, this year.
For the seedlings? To plant the trees. So the reasons that they gave you for last year has been defeated?
Yes, urgency is defeated. Omar Kamara signed.
Okay.
But according to them, Omar Kamara is the key piece who received to Kamara.
To Omar Kamara's plan?
Master plan, yes.
So can you help us get that proof?
Yes, Council. Can we proceed?
Was that the last one?
Yes.
And may I have the... Can you turn to the letter dated the 1st of... and tell us what... Please tell...
And GBA form 012 and minutes of the committee on other parties
taking approval from your office.
It's about the submission of a particular form.
Page on the file, there is exhibited a list of the heading on the last page. You know that the letter now
the list,
yes,
to BAC3 Toyota pickup, one tractor hairs, 4 big, 2 roofing main Scania
compactors.
Yeah.
So we don't know whether it is one or whether
not signed by
for the granting of the disposal. And what
of the communication here from the letter, but
the 12 the
attached.
Yes.
Yes. And it's a document on behalf.
That file consists of 2 applications to auction the items that you have read out. 5 items. That is the letter dated the 12th, complied with the
1st January.
About before we go into the content, now can you briefly tell us what
the process in the Public Procurement Act is? Establish a disposal committee, briefly a disposal committee, and this disposal prices make recommendation.
A summary.
Yeah,
now that disposal committee or team meeting?
No, disposal committee, and these people should also be answerable to the accounting officer.
So the senior management. Now, so do you see it? The auctioning of the items listed. As to yes.
Review of your submission with the authority area council. Studios stated in the 61-62 to 63. Submit the and sign.
Now, on the items that were to be auctioned.
Yes.
Now, do you see any approval that was previously granted for the initial items that you read out, the 16 items?
Let me just confirm, Council. Okay, there's a letter here. Let me just confirm whether there's a letter. Submission of list of auction items.
Yes.
And having reviewed your submission, proceed with the auction of items. Procedure stated in the Gambia Public Procurement Authority Amendment Act.
July 2021.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the one for?
The one for 19 January 2022.
Yes.
The specific to additional 5 scrap items. Yes, that's the fundamental difference.
Now, the one for the 15 July 2021, you said...
Yeah, I said, that's what I was trying to read here. There is some reference. I don't see the beginning of that.
Yes.
So this is a kind of, I don't see page 1 to 5, but in page 6, there is reference to seeking approval from the authority.
Did they reference that particular application?
Yeah, that's what I said. I said I did not see the first page to the 5th page. So the page here is page 6.
Yes.
6 dots. Then on behalf of the committee and approvals from the GPPA.
So is there any application that you have seen in the file regarding the disposal of the items initially listed?
Yes, in the file presently there is no for the initial
listed.
15 July.
Yes, there were 2 approvals. I have already distinguished the fact that for disposal,
yes,
the 19th in the year 2022, we grant approval for. So now my point is the first approval was not premised on application because we haven't seen any application from Brikama Area Council as far as you're concerned, apart from the letter of the 1st July, which does not amount to an application. Is that correct?
Yes, Council, from the records here, there is no application except what I just told you.
Yes.
I did not see page 1 to 5.
Yes. So now let's assume it has been granted. But then it made reference the 15 July 2021 letter. Can you again read the letter? Just quickly the contents.
15. Our letter.
Yes.
Is addressed to the Chief Executive Officer, Brikama Area Council. Caption: Submission of list of auction items and GPPA form 012 and minutes of the contracts committee.
Yes.
Reference is drawn to your letter BAC 0778 dated 1st July 2021 relative to the above caption matter. Your submission with the evidence of the minutes of your contracts committee meetings. Please be informed that the authority hereby grants to proceed with the auction. Strongly advise you to disposal procedure in the Gambia Public Procurement Authority Amendment Act 2018. It's made Part 11, Section 58 to 63.
Now, Mr. Tamura, first you have a letter on the 1st July 2021, and you have attached to that letter at least 16 items or equipments intended to be auctioned. Is that correct? To be disposed of. Is that correct? That is the first communication.
Yes, Council.
And then your office granted approval. Is that not correct?
The reason for granting approval?
Yes. You've already read the contents of the letter.
Yes, with evidence of the court. Yes.
And eventually they wrote back to you again. What are those 5 items that they wanted to dispose of that you granted subsequent approval for the second time.
Let me just quickly browse on.
Do you see it?
Just
19 January 2022. You got it approval. So have you seen the attachment?
Just 12 January. Yeah,
In the letter.
There's a list here.
Yeah, exactly.
The request of 12 January.
Can you tell us the list? Can you? What?
Yes. You have one BAC 8 grade wall, two.
That's a proceed.
Three B6 Toyota pickup. That's a vehicle.
Please louder.
3 6 Toyota pickup to head. 6 1 tractor motor head. 7 4 tractor tires. 8 metal doors. 11 2 small metal doors. 5 engine. Move to the 8 BAC 60 engine. Move to BAC and gearbox in bracket scrap. 7 20 BAC 35 12.
In fact, instead of having 5 additional, they had more than 5. Because if you add 16,
21.
1.
Yes,
But then we have about 24.
the list here is 24.
That will be more. The first was granted is for 16 items.
For 16 items.
For all equipment. Now, you granted the first approval because of the fact that there was a meeting as per the letter. Is that not correct?
Yes, as per the letter.
Which
Yes.
back of the file? There seems to be one at the back of the file.
So the same tilling is coming.
What is coming? Are those minutes of contrast? It may suggest that it probably is there, but you haven't seen it. It may be missing.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
have you seen evidence of contrast committee meeting in that file?
Here? No, what I see here, these are
minutes in that file.
Indicated. No council.
You have a
Yes, council.
Now, is that sufficient? For when it comes to disposal of items, is that sufficient?
Yeah, it depends on the nature of the minutes of the contrast committee, because the contrast committee, because it is the overall body. So it depends on the nature of the minutes. The minutes can contain the reports of all these committees put together.
Is that evidence coming from you? Is that the position of the law when it comes to disposal? I have it in front of me. If you want, we can go through it. You've already discussed it with us, and I've asked you the question whether, in fact, senior staff meetings will amount to what first minutes are in relation to discuss of those 5 items. You still 16 items, and that even but you subsequently gave approval.
Right.
How do you explain that?
Council
22 from yes.
12 January
12 2.
Yes, that's the letter council.
Please give us the reference.
As A.
Does that reference number ring a bell? Sayang, does that reference ring a bell?
It appears to be this.
And then the ones that we see that even the logos would this, when you granted this approval in that auction, disposal of
disposal, submit the report. Normally the report should be the equivalent, but
14.
Once you open the
there is a fixed timeline.
Yeah.
14.1 shall be reported by the accounting officer or head of the procuring organization to the authority within 14 days of the disposal.
The last approval,
yes,
that's 19 January 2022.
And today is you request for any report?
No, Council.
And why is that?
We did not receive it. We did not.
You don't really care about whether they actually dispose, because there are rules of this. Share these public properties. Do some kind of I don't know how to even call it, conduct a proper. You don't have any interest to know, more like a business as usual. So why are they then applying?
In doing that, they must abide by. Auction has taken place. Procurement proceedings at every stage have to do X, Y, and Z, and they are expected to report back to the authority at every stage.
Why are you giving the mandate to
ensure that?
See, Mr. Sayan, let us not try to be very. And you know, you're not even getting anywhere. The procurement.
Correct. Not automatic.
Yes, when you say it's not automatic,
there must be that are mentioned.
Are you in a position as a procuring?
The only ground.
So what are you talking about now? Where
for me, my
procedure, or you just approve when they to put across, or not to have approved, is all that they need to do without following due process.
It must be submitted to the authority for approval.
Council, you may. Thank you for the explanation.
You very, very quickly. At what point? Yes.
And the law says that
you are trying to separate it. That's the point. Now, what point?
Well, starting from the request for is not automatic.
Exactly. Now, it means you are in a position, an application to grant. Can you application for grounds that you may not grant approval?
The procedures are not followed.
And what are these procedures?
Disposal committee.
Yes.
The head of a procurement departments with.
Yes. Or approved by this.
Council, sorry.
Is that even if the board of surveyors determine that the head of the procurement and
correct.
So now,
so
you didn't say it's evidence of contracts committee meeting. Please read the letter, please. And
there are two letters. I think that's the one dated 15 July.
That is what?
Having reviewed your submission with evidence of the minutes of your contracts committee meeting, please be involved.
Going by the letter?
Yes. This thing should have been even rejected from the contracts committee. It doesn't mean that we are all the requirements that are requested for. To said, it should not have been correct.
Is there evidence approval for disposal at the level of the procuring organization, which will warrant you to grant approval in this case?
Suppose council,
Mr. Sanya, you understand? Presuming. So, what he is asking, answer the question in his.
There evidence of approval for disposal of these items at the level of the procuring organization. Disposal, was it supposed to in fact be approved at any given point in time, Mr. Sanya?
No.
After 14 days, supposed to be notified to the form of a report. But it's not correct.
Correct.
Any questions by the commissioners before I move?
No question.
All right. The purchase of 1,680 bags of rice. Let's just quick application for single sourcing. 1,680 bags of rice. Yes. Now, what is the threshold?
$20,000.
Now, going by that file, what was the use of?
The justification, there is not much stock available. The price offered
disclosed
is below the market
price. Is that not correct?
Correct.
What was the market price at the time?
1,000.
And then how about this 1,680 bucks? It appears to be yes. So now 20 to the procurement plan
submitted as requested. They are here. Let's we can confirm because some of them are missing. Not sure whether that.
Let's see whether there is evidence of. But in addition to that, Mr. Sayang, we may proceed.
Now, according to them, they came with the offer.
Verbatim.
We would certainly need.
So, at some point, sat wherever he or she was, and realized that the Americans would have needed this rice.
It's an unsolicited
yes, proposal. And you are even laughing. It's very funny, is it not? Evidence as to how the supplier is that the supplier.
Council is very interesting. So,
absolutely interesting. Granted, they were and told them, I knew you would want to the case. Do you have
recommendation rise
the 27th?
Judgment.
What is it? The designation of signatures.
Correct.
Signatures. They probably have a photocopy of signatures being photocopied, and the minutes will be typed. Is that not the case? Have you not dealt with files like that? In fact, all of these questions. What would
maybe fraud or
meeting and ask about an emergency?
Life threatened. Anyway,
the idea is because they don't about $1 million with no evidence of a conduct committee meeting with one. They procuring it.
Correct.
And then he subsequently signed the photocopy. Now, of it be published. Thank you very much. For the letter approval, you approved on the 25th of March 2019. What were you?
Yeah, but just to buttress on the letter reads, having reviewed your submission, please be informed that the authority hereby gives approval of your bidding document and the intended procurement method, OP, for the drilling of 2 boreholes for issuing the bidders copy for the procurement method.
Which is?
Open tender.
How do you know that?
But here what it says is OP.
What is OP?
Is OT. I think that's the safe.
The organism appears as if, see, when it gives you, because at some point it appears as if a long period of third party to any form of collusion or not. But
yeah. If you check the minutes, in their minutes, it's indicated
that I haven't read that yet.
The paragraph.
I cannot of your what the law is providing for. At the end of the day, as the
I did not see that, Mr. Authority.
Yes.
But if you make reference to the of one as a
advertisement on that. And on the 26th May, you sent a letter saying that you
26 May.
Yes.
Okay, there's a letter from the authority.
And you what was mention of?
19 May 2021.
You were reported.
Yes, to inform you that it cannot make an important evaluation.
Please louder, louder. At this stage, and you are rejecting the recommendation for award on certain grounds.
Yes.
And what are these grounds?
Yes. One contingency during contract execution added some items to the BOQ. And he gave example of the items that he added. C, Your warranty period was not indicated, but then he gave the submit for our consideration.
So you raised some subject
from the reports here.
No, that the issues this was subject to the rule, but subsequently they wrote
is the winner in this test that participated, and they conducted process. And as prior to this technical information, was and or not their qualifications provided for?
Report.
So in this instance, is it in the evaluation report? And do we know how many people tendered for this?
Yeah, okay.
But please confirm.
Council, there is a photocopied document here. Yes. Caption, evaluation report, dated 14 May 2021, accessories within the Birkama Area Council framework.
In line with what I was asking, I even have it in my notes, that having the bids been open,
sitting here, touch. And the deadline for the submission of bids was on the 7th of. That's Munyagin, Basse,
yes. In fact, for the
yes,
suppliers, bids that you have submitted. Is that in the
highlighted certain technical issues?
Come again, you said logically?
6 May.
Yes, process. We had already discussed those animals were directly towards the
yes, that's what
and then it highlighted issues regarding the technical clearance, the CV of the regarding whether the procedure whatsoever.
The bids would help us ascertain exactly.
Document. Whether those issues are not normally captured in the minutes.
No, that is internal.
It is, yes, because it is only in those minutes bid document. So for you to appreciate, you will have to see evidence of different formats to show you that as an authority, right?
Yes.
The reason why, because the organization was trying to provide justification, they have sent out. Do you see that?
7 April.
There was an invitation letter for the bidders to participate in the
invitation to bid.
Yes.
Caption, April 2020. Caption, invitation to bid.
Yes.
In bracket tender. The Birni Bondale and Fonyi Jaro districts in the West Coast region, and intends to place a contract for drilling of the boreholes and their accessories. 2. The boreholes are to be drilled and the Kangwali Kanjabut village chiefly. The council now invites
that is you are reading the content of the letter.
This letter, hence it is an open test, because this letter should go to the newspapers.
Should go to the newspaper.
Yes.
To indicate that it has even a heading and content, no addressee.
Yes, council.
And we don't have any evidence. Subsequently learned of someone who they intend to give advertisement evidence of it in the file.
In the file here, no.
Zero. We already dealing with the file, and then we know they awarded the contract to an intended bidder. Is that not the case?
Yes, council.
But then, interestingly, for you to consider your decision on the 15th of, there were inconsistencies in the technical specification.
That's deleted.
Awardee to this, and then in trying to convince GPPA, they are saying that.
Yes, council.
Is that not trying to solicit?
You are, let's say, the past experience. That particular institution can always. That is already established.
Why did you subsequently grant the approval of this particular? According to the file, was never conducted, but was subsequently granted. Mr. Sayan?
Yes.
Are we together? No evidence of it being conducted, but then.
Yes.
Metambura, why is that the case?
Yeah. If the process is not
half year,
yeah, that's
that would be half year. the grant?
Caption, submission of evaluation report and bids. He made reference to the letter by the members of the contracts committee, drilling and plumbing enterprise, to drill 2 boreholes and its accessories in Fonyi Bondali and Fonyi and Jarol district.
It is based on what?
Based on the information provided.
Yes, to what?
To what you've said.
Would you have approved this particular process as it is in the file?
No, based on the information.
Based on what you have learned?
The information that we have before us, no, approval will not be granted.
So it will be wrong to approve this particular process?
Correct.
Just to summarize briefly and conclude, we had discussed, myself and Mr. Tambura, the procurement. And procurement organizations do not see to it that they follow this process business, thereby putting public office?
It is more likely than not.
It is highly likely. You did not answer it. In your experience,
yes,
the DG answered, but I will not tell you what the DG's answer is. In your experience,
yes,
are you aware of any situation wherein procurement organizations would attempt to corrupt the procurement officials that conduct that work in the authority?
My personal experience, no, sir.
Not someone coming to bribe you or you engaging in bribery, but I'm saying in your experience generally, whether you are aware that these things, they do happen.
At the authority level?
At the procurement organization level, even trying to influence decisions at the level of the authority.
I'm not aware of any incident.
Mr. Sayang? So, but DG said, even him being the Director General, people try to influence his decision. And he will come back, I'm sure, to testify. So you may reconsider your position, because what we have seen in the file throughout this month, are you only going to qualify it as mere mistakes?
Council, with DG, perhaps he is the final decision maker. That is why attempts were made, because at the levels of junior officers, even if they take a decision, the decision can be torn down by the final decision maker, who is the accounting officer. I am not saying that attempts were not made, but I can say that the Director General is the final decision maker, and if attempts were made to corrupt him, I cannot rule it out.
Will it be a reasonable expectation to kind of say that, based on what we have seen in these files, all of these files, will you conveniently say that these are just basic mistakes, just mere mistakes alone, where you are sitting right now?
Actually, for me, I will not rule it out, because we have come across a lot of issues, most of which could be attributed to the kind of staff that we have, the low skills, knowledge, and the like. And look at OP instead of OT, which anybody here can know that it's either a typo or a mistake.
But anybody will know as well that for single, because you are the authority that is supposed to fact check the organization disregard to the rules and regulations. No one will just say.
You have the Director General who, according to your
circumstance.
No, they are not.
Thank you. I believe it's time. Is it not time? Do we have to proceed? Yes.
We will do so on Monday. I believe you have. Mr. Tamra and Mr. Sanyang, there are so many documents that we requested for you to bring to us, and some of these documents we need to admit them in evidence. So kindly check the ones that you need to certify. You certify them so that we can admit these documents. Instead of going through the files, we'll want to admit those documents. We'll just finish up quickly with him Monday morning and then admit all the documents that you have had. so that we will be able to use them to cross-check some of the information that we need to cross-check.
Okay. So
yes, and Mr. Tamura, you gave me some forms. So if there are further forms that you need to give to us, kindly provide them so that we admit them in evidence on Monday. Because this one, you gave me 2 for me to peruse. That is the review of prior approval. It's a checklist sort of that you have as an organization to help you assess the files when they come in. And there is the other one which is captioned panel review of prior approval, which which deals with open and restricted tender for
yes.
submission. Then the other one is dealing with Section A. Yes. Then there is also the forms, the names of the forms and the reference in the regulations. If you have updated that, kindly provide us so that we can make reference to the forms that we see you refer to in the files and in your letters, particularly in the letters, because you always refer back the POs to comply with certain forms, and these forms have corresponding sections in the regulation. And we went through that with Mr. Sanyang, and we found that it was all grossly wrong. So what you make reference to in your letters are always wrong. So he gave me sample, but when we went through, we realized it's the same thing. So if you have corrected version, please provide those ones on Monday.
And it has not been finalized. That's why we have most of these issues. And most of our forms.
No, because these references were made pursuant to the 2018 regulations, which are still wrong.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I said what we found in your letters and in your files, and the references made there too, are wrong. It's not that you are making the new regulations and then the numbering and all that stuff, but what they made reference to and what is contained in the regulations that are currently being used is wrong.
Yes, we admit that. We realize that. In fact, internally, we have already started working on that. Internally, but the references are wrong. Regarding those 2 forms, the checklist, yes. One is for the tender, that's open tender and restricted. The other one is for single source request for quotation. Okay. So those are the ones currently we are using, yes, okay. As a checklist. Regarding other requests for the system audit, I've sent the email to the registrar. I think the report, yes, I mean.
What you do is just bring all the ones that you know that they are correct, and we will admit them in evidence so that we will be able to use them in our analysis.
Okay. Okay, Council.
Because we will have to be referring to these things, but we will have to get it from you, admit it to show that we got them from you.
Okay, Council. Right. Okay, Chair.
So we may rise and have a good evening. Thank you.